Hi, and welcome back to the channel. It's true, my name is Norf, and you'll know that we are currently partway through a 3-part series where I'm talking about the lenses that I use in this tight spot on my Sony a6400 aps-c camera. Last time we were here, we looked at the Sigma 16mm f1.4, and you'll remember that we were really close in last time. But you'll be pleased to hear that normal service has been resumed, and my Sigma 16mm f1.4 is currently on my Sony a6400 camera body. This week, we're going to look at this Espresso cup. It's not an Espresso cup, I'm joking, really. This is the beautiful Sigma 30mm f1.4. And you might be asking, Norf, why have you got the 16mm from Sigma, and why have you also got the 30mm f1.4 from Sigma? Well, funny you should say that, because that's just what we're going to unpack this week. So as is customary, if you're ready, let's get started. The reason I went for the Sigma 30mm f1.4 is that it's just as razor sharp as the Sigma 16mm f1.4, but I'll use this in a couple of different situations. And in this video, I'm going to unpack the situations that I use them in. There is, of course, one tiny little gripe that I've got with the 30mm f1.4 from Sigma. The Sigma 30mm f1.4 is just as razor sharp as its wide-angled bigger brother, which is the 16mm f1.4. These are delightful lenses, they truly are. Just like the Sigma 16mm, the 30mm also has 9 aperture blades and also uses the Sony focus by wire system. The construction is beautiful, made from metal as well as high-quality precision glass, and really, this is an outstanding prime lens that you can purchase. Believe it or not, this is a super lightweight prime lens just weighing in at 265 grams. It's fast, it's super quiet, it's razor sharp all the way to the edges, and I have had absolutely no problems with this bang for buck lens. It really is superb. In fact, this lens was actually released in 2016, and even today, in 2021, it's still a superb piece of glass to have. For me, this Sigma lens is aging like a fine wine as opposed to a fine cheese. The Sigma 30mm f1.4 contemporary lens for the Sony E-mount system is outstanding. Just like the 16mm in the same range, the Sigma 30mm f1.4 is finished absolutely beautifully. At less than 75mm long without the hood, the team at Sigma have managed to squeeze in some beautiful optical magic that happens inside the lens once it's powered. And just like the 16mm, the 30mm has 9 aperture blades inside the lens. At this point you might be asking yourself, Norf, so what? What does this mean for me? Well, simply put, what it means for you is one thing. Bokeh. Simply meaning blur or haze in Japanese. Or in other words, that soft, visually appealing, out-of-focus, dreamy look. The feel of the semi-rubberized focus ring feels really good. And as you operate the focus ring, you encounter a little bit of resistance, which gives you some great insight into how Sigma have constructed this prime lens. Let's also consider the grin factor. When you're using this lens combined with the Sony a6400, I'd say that grin factor is off the charts. It really is wonderful to have some flexibility by switching out my Sigma 16mm for the 30mm, and the 30mm for me is superb for overhead shots. I could use my Sony 18-105 f4, but that lens relatively has a fair bit of weight to it. When mounting my camera for overhead shots, I need some additional support, and that comes in the shape of a small rig super clamp. To set it up, I'll attach one end to my shelf and the other screws into the base of the camera. Once we're all connected and tightened up, I'll attach the lens, make any final adjustments, remove the lens cap, leaving that on of course is a schoolboy error, right? Then hey presto, overhead camera, check. This is where the overhead camera magic happens in this tight spot. If you're using the Sigma 30mm f1.4 for video or for photography work outside, just make sure that you've also packed an ND filter, a neutral density filter. ND or neutral density filters are a must-have accessory when you've got a great camera and lens. These wonderful inventions act as sunglasses for your camera. By utilizing an ND filter, or in my example, a variable ND filter, you can reduce or stop down the amount of natural light coming into the lens and really open up that aperture to say 1.4 in order to get that really smooth bokeh. Of course, I'll leave links in the description below. There are a couple of things to note about the Sigma 30mm f1.4, one of which is this lens is not weather sealed. But to be honest, it's not raining in this tight spot, so for me, that's absolutely fine, no problem at all. However, the one tiny little gripe that I have with the Sigma 30mm f1.4 is that it doesn't come with built-in in-body stabilization. But to be fair, it's really not a deal breaker. And that's it for this week. Thank you for choosing to spend your time here. Please do let me know in the comments below what lens you have, or what's your next lens that you're looking for. Would you be looking for a wide-angle lens, or would you be looking for something like the Sigma 30mm f1.4? As you know, I'm a massive fan of the number 3, so if you would, please do 3 things for me. If you like the content, please do give me a thumbs up. Also remember to subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed, and also hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on when I upload brand new content to the channel. Again, thank you for choosing to spend your time here, and I'll see you next time.